Hello, KS 8th grade. I miss you guys. I'm sorry about the news and I'm sorry about this bright light. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I'm going to try to do something different today. Not today, the whole week. I'm going to try to make a video every day just for y'all because I miss you so much. And you know what? One of the biggest thing that I miss is my mornings whenever I greet you guys at the door. So this is what I have for you. So just listen. Um, if I would suggest, if you haven't, well, you probably don't have it yet because I haven't told you, but get you some paper, a pen, whatever you go, just so you can write something today. Because I'm going to start the day's lesson off with today's date. All right. So let me get this switched right here. Switch over to cameras. Yep. Oh, hold on. You can still see me. Hi. Okay. All right. Anyway, so today's date. Let's see. Where's my hand? There's my hand. That might be a little too close. Let me move it up. Makes you feel like you're right in the classroom again. All right. So today is Monday. Okay. So our month is 1 divided by 1/4. Our day is 2 to the 4th plus the square root of 121. And our year is 100 divided by the square root of 25. All right. If you want to, pause it, think about it, and think about how you can explain what today's date is using these numerical expressions. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So our month here, 1 divided by 1/4. Well, if you divide 1 into fourths, how many fourths would you have? You would have 4. If you could not break that up into fractions, then of course you can do the other way, or simply you just multiply by 4. This is 1/4, and so whenever you multiply by the reciprocal, that's where you get 4. This one right here, 2 to the 4th power, so that is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. And then we've got to add that to the square root of 121. That's close to 100. Square root of 100 is 10. So let's go to the next number. If we multiply 11 times 11, that's where it's 121. So that's 11 times 11. So the square root of 121 is 11. And then 16 plus 11 is 27. So we've got 4, we got 27. And then right here, 100 divided by the square root of 25. That should be pretty quick. Y'all know that's 5 times 5. So that's actually 100 divided by 5. 100 divided by 5, which is 20. There's today's date. So today's date is 4/27/20. How y'all like that? All right, happy Monday for that. Woohoo! All right, we are going to go. Guess there's no questions. It's kind of weird. All right, switch colors here. This week, these recordings are going to be focused on solving equations. Alright. Simply just solving multi-step equations. And you guys did some of this while we were in school, so I'll be pretty good at it. Oh, focus. There it goes. No, focus. Ooh, y'all like my nails? Okay. Anyway, I want to kind of refresh your heads about equations. Equations is basically it's almost like a mathematical sentence. And I'm going to start off with just, this is an equation. X is equal to 5. X is just a label that we could put without putting a number, but the variable, that's what that is, actually represents a specific number. In this case, according to the equation, this number is the value that the variable is representing. Okay. An equation has got to keep balanced, so we're going to manipulate this a little bit. So if I want to multiply this variable by 2, what would I have to do to the other side? Well, I had to multiply it by 2. And we would get the equation 2x equals 10, right? You notice that the equation is still true. We set up here that the variable's 5. If we put 5 in place of x, 2 times x is 10. What if, let's say I wanted to add a value of 3 to both sides. Well, if we multiply the variable by 2, we get 10. So I'm not going to specifically add 3 to that variable. There's 2 of those variables, so I can't just add 3 to it. I just leave it like that. See? But now I know this exact value, and 3 is another constant, so I can put those together and get 13. Do you see that this is still an equation? I could put 5 in place of the x, and I've got 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 plus 3 is 13. So it's still balanced. Let's spice it up a little bit. What if I multiply this whole thing by 2? Y'all remember this? Well, I want to multiply everything by 2, so I've got to distribute. I've got 2 groups of 2x's, so that will give me 4x's, and I've got 2 groups of 3, which will give me 6. Well, on the other side, I would also multiply that by 2, and I would get 26. Now you can check me still. We said x is 5. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 6 is still 26. Let's play with it a little bit more. What if I take away 2 from both sides? I'm not going to take away from here. This is just saying I got 4 groups of x. So I can't just simply take away 2, because I don't, this x is representing that value, so I'd have to actually put that value in there to do that. So but I can take away 2 from the 6. So I have 4x plus 4, and on the other side I have 24. If you don't believe me, again, if I put the 5 in place of the x, I've got 20 plus 4, which is still 24. Let's see what I've done. Multiplication, I've done addition, I've done subtraction. What if we are dividing from both sides? Well, let's divide this side by 2. So just like the multiplication, I've got to divide everything right here by 2. 4x divided by 2 is 2x, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. And if I divide this side by 2, I get 12. I gotta get used to that. This is still just like school, or I know nobody's telling me to push it up, Miss Hughes. Okay. if I put 5 in here, I still get 12. So it is still working. Well, what if we add some variables? So let's say on this side I add 3 x's, and I add 3 x's to this side. Well, I've got 5 x's over here now. I don't add anything to that. That 2 is not having anything to do with the variables. So the 2 stays. I'm adding 3 x's. I'm not just adding a number or a constant. So I leave that here. So I have 12 plus 3x. All right. And I just gotten into a big number. That looks like a multi-step equation, doesn't it? All right. I'm going to do one more thing. What if I take away 5 from both sides? Well, I'm not taking away 5 from here. I'm going to take away the 5 from here. This actually winds up giving me a negative integer, because 2 minus 5 is the negative 3. Do y'all remember that? And then 12 minus 5 is the 7, and I still got the 3x. And this is where I'm going to pause, because this still should, the x is still equivalent to 5, because everything you see up here, what I did from one side, I did to the other side. Now, the reason why I showed this to you, and I really kind of, if you get stuck with these equations, come back to this, because the key to it is, if you do one thing to one side of the equation, you have to do the same exact thing to the other side of the equation to keep the balance. And when you do that, as you can see here, you can manipulate it to where it shows many different things, but the value of x is still 5. Alright. We're actually going to show this, work backwards on this one to solve it. So let's write this up here. We've got 5x minus 3 equals 7 plus 3x. You kind of want to look for things that you can start doing that will get where you can actually see, you can get back to this, where it just shows what x is equal to. So in this case, I'm looking, I noticed that I can eliminate this 3 right here by adding 3 to both sides. That leaves me with just 5x right here. I'm not adding the 3 to that again. I have to add it to the 7, so I get 10 plus 3x. I'm noticing that this 3 right here, let me take it away from that. So I'm going to take away this 3x from both sides. I'm left with 2x equals 10. And at this point, you guys already see the answer, right? And that's where, if 2x equals 10, then 10, if you divide both sides by 2, that's where the x is equal to 5. So basically, you guys see through this is that you start with, we eliminated the constant from this side, and we were just left with the variable. And then on this side, we eliminated the variable, so we were left with just the constant. And then from there, we were able to see that 2 groups of x equals 10 was actually x is equal to 5. Alright, I have 3 examples that I'd like for you to try. So if you already have that, that's great. If you need to pause it to write it down, that's fine. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see. I've got 5x plus 6 equals x plus 26. That's the first one. Then I've got 2x plus 3 equals 13. That's a little easy, isn't it? We'll keep it there. And then our last one is 7x minus 5 equals 5x plus 5. If you want to write those three down, take your time and work them out. Y'all see them? Alright. Work them out, then come back to this video and see how you did. I'll go ahead and work them out. Alright, and I'm going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll start with the first one here. So 5x plus 6 equals x plus 26. I'm going to change pens. Let's see. I'm going to take away 6 from both sides. I'm left with 5x equals x plus 20. I'm going to take away this 1x right here. And I'm left with 4x's equaling 20. And then from here, you guys can see, because I'm dividing both sides by 4, 4 times 5 equals 20. Alright, of course you can check your work. 5 and 5 plus 6 equals 5 plus 26. That's 25 plus 6, which is the same thing that is over here. It's 31 equaling 31. So it's good. Alright, our next one, this is a two-step equation. I don't have a variable on this side, so I've just got to take away this number. I've got 10 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to 5. And again, to check that, you can see that's 10 plus 3, which is 13, and 13 is 13. Alright. And then the last one. Don't let this part fool you. They're not the same thing. That's a minus 5. That's a negative 5. That's a positive 5. So I'm going to have to add 5 over here. So I'm just left with 7 x's here. I didn't do anything with these x's over here. And I've got 10. I'm going to take away these 5 x's from both sides. And I've got 2x equals 10. You already know this. Divide both sides by 2. X is equal to 5. And let's check it. 7 times 5 minus 5 equals 5 times 5 plus 5. 35 minus 5 is 30. 25 plus 5 is 30. So it checks. So I chose these 3 problems for you so that you can see a variety. My challenge for you, and they will be featured on the video on Thursday. I'm going to choose a few. This is my instructions for you to do. You ready? Okay, send me an equation with at least one variable, term, and one constant. Y'all notice I said at least on both sides of the equation, and the variable's value has to equal. Bye, love. Wow. I will choose a few to feature in Thursday's video. Send me an equation with at least one variable term and one constant on both sides of the equation, and the variable's value has to equal 5. So, this one, that's a variable term, that's a constant, that's a variable, that's a constant. So that's an example. And then this one at the bottom, this is a variable, this is a constant, that's a variable, that's a constant. Those are two great examples that you can use. You can also use some of the work that we did here. There's one. You won't use these exactly, but this is an example. This is variable, constant, constant, variable. So they don't have to be in the same order. But anyway, that's what I would like for you to do. And I'm going to draw you a bunch of hearts because I miss y'all. I hope I made you smile. And I hope I kind of give you the feeling of school again. And I'm going to try to get better with the videos. But you know how much I love math. And I love equations. So that's what I wanted to start with. So again, you can send the equations through email. You can write it down and take a picture. You can send it through the remind. Just however you feel necessary. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Oh, for science. There is, I would suggest, I'm going to watch a episode on YouTube, not YouTube, but on Netflix. And see if y'all can figure it out. If you know the title of it, send it to me. I'm not going to tell you the title of it. You figure it out. But it's got different animals in the first. I already watched the first episode. You're going to love the first episode. It's kind of gross, though. Because it's got dung beetles. Anyway. I miss y'all. Watch the episode on Netflix that I'm talking about, if you know what I'm talking about. And send me an equation or two. No more than 3. I know some of you just love them. And challenge me. I want a challenge, okay? Okay? I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.